Hello, my fellow YouTubers. Hope you're doing well today. Hello from Mr. Otis as well. He can't talk yet. He still has his doggy vocal cords, but he says hello because I can read Otis doggy. Now, so we see what's going on with Harry and Meghan. I've been piecing some things together, really looking critically at what is happening with this couple. And it really comes down to Harry and Meghan have lost their class, if they even ever had any. They have lost their way. And I'm going to talk about how the friends of the king, people in Great Britain, how they're outraged by this, but give you some insight into how I see Harry and Meghan's life in America and what they're trying to do. Let's get into it. I see that Harry has done this interview with Will Reeves, the son of the late Christopher Reeve, who we know played Superman. And I've always made this analogy with Christopher Reeve and Superman 2, when he gave up his powers for his love, Lois Lane. He gave up his powers. And I think it is just so interesting that, you know, he's speaking now to the son of Christopher Reeves. And I believe Harry, what he has done, he has portrayed himself as that Christopher Reeve character who gave everything up to be a regular man. He didn't want any more of his superpowers. He goes, because I love you. I love you. I want to get rid of all my superpowers because I want to come and be like a real man. I want to be human-like. And we know what happened. You know, he was like, he got in a fight. He started bleeding. He got his butt kicked. He kind of got just, broken down where he was like, look, this is for the birds. I want my superpowers back. I don't want to be a regular man. I want to be the Superman that I was. And Lois Lane, forget you. I love you from afar, woman. I don't want this kind of relationship because love is not that deep where I need to give up who I am as a man. And that's what Harry has done. He has given up everything that made him who he is with his royalty, his access to the royal family. He is giving it all up to love this woman and to have something special with her in America and to do something unique, different, cut off from the real royals. That's the problem. He's been cut off. And what they're trying to do, I can assure you, it's not going to work. But we're going to have fun watching it, right? Are we not? We're going to have fun watching. Okay, what you going to do now? So we're going to talk about that. So this is what has happened from the king's perspective and his friends and everyone that is talking about this over in Great Britain. Because when you come to America, it's a different story. Okay, and you got to look at things from an average American's point of view. What's happening now is that Prince Harry says he believes his father's cancer diagnosis could unify the royal family when he opened up about his father's cancer diagnosis in this Good Morning America interview. And you hear Harry doing that and you think that he's trying to say that we're going to now be one unit again. Because don't get it twisted. What Harry has done when he went to go see his father, he did that because he knew he had this interview coming up, I believe. And he knew he had to make his connection to the royal family so that when he had this upcoming American interview, he could talk about seeing the king because he can only get his powers, his superhero royalty from the connection to the king. And so it didn't matter that he was there for 30 minutes, 15 minutes. The fact is that people knew about it. And why do you think he mentioned it? Why did we have to have a news release that came out and talked about Harry is now going to see his father after his father's cancer diagnosis? Because he has to be seen getting those superpowers. Okay. And so when he talked about it, he said, he was able to get on the plane and go see his papa. Because the American is like, oh, okay, he's seeing the king. He's getting his superpowers. Because imagine had he not gone and he had this interview and he had to talk about, well, how's your father and his cancer diagnosis? I don't know. I didn't go see him. I don't know what's going on. That wouldn't have looked too good, would it? Would it? So he has to maintain this connection, even if it's just for a nanosecond. The fact that he even had to talk about his father's diagnosis in an interview says that Harry has to use his connection to his father to continue his self-promoting branding, because don't get it twisted, they are branding to the American audience. And so no matter what happens, Harry is going to always have to make a comment about, well, what's going on over there with the real royals. He has to make a comment. Now, he did, to his credit, say he wasn't going to go into about, his long-term prognosis. Harry did say he wasn't going to divulge that. But the fact that Harry actually has to speak on his father's cancer diagnosis in a sit-down interview says that he has to use and market his father's diagnosis for Harry's own well-being of branding and making money in America. This is how he has to be able to relate it, even if he doesn't divulge that much information about it. He has to be able to use that information to legitimize anything that he is doing in America to make money. Because otherwise he has no superpowers. He has nothing that would make people want to even talk to him as the prince. Because you don't got no connection to the king. The king is not even talking to you. If that were the case, he could not do what he's doing now. But the fact that he has an open door to go visit the king whenever he says he wants to drop in, even without Meghan, they're going to allow him in because he is the king's son. But is that good for the king? Knowing that Harry has to be able to comment on the royal family to maintain his legitimacy here in America. Because if a reporter is going to come and speak to you about your event of Invictus and you're the king's son, well, of course we have to ask you about the king's diagnosis. And if you can't respond to that question, well, then what good are you? And why am I talking to you? So that's what he's doing. Even if he doesn't give away too much information, the fact that he has to do it to legitimize himself in America makes it a problem. And that's where I think the royals have to really think about, well, how are they going to deal with this? Because he's going to continue to monetize his relationship with the king. He has to. He said that he was considering becoming a U.S. citizen in this new interview. Harry discussed his father's cancer diagnosis. And this is the thing about how they word this, how they promote this interview. They say that Harry discusses his father's cancer diagnosis. Do you know what that headline looks like to an average American sitting down waiting to watch this interview? Oh, we're going to tune in, because what did he say? What did he say about the king? Even if he didn't say much, the fact that he even spoke those words in his mouth makes it a headline. And that should be a big problem for the royals. But he talks about becoming an American, being considered an American citizen. And I think he just says that because he wants to look favorable in the eyes of the Americans. He wants people to think, oh, you like our country. We like you. We love you, Prince Harry. We love you. That's what that is. He's not going to say, well, shoot, I ain't want to be no American. I'm British. What would that sound like to this average American? So, of course, he has to say this. But I don't know that he would go that far to give up his access to the throne as the whatever in line to become an American citizen, because we know you are not going to be in line to no throne if you become an American citizen. That's just not going to happen. Okay, his comments about Charles's cancer is going to infuriate the palace, with friends of the royals telling the Daily Beast that he should have just stayed silent on the matter. And yeah, the moment that he went over to England and announced that he was going there should have been a sign. And I mentioned it in my video. When he went there, he used it as PR. He used it as PR. He could not say that he was going to see the king, because then he could not maintain his superpowers. So when asked about his recent dash to Britain to see his father, he said, I love my family. The fact that I was able to get on a plane and go see him and spend any time with him, I'm grateful for that. So Harry is showing, and we all see it, right? Harry is saying, oh yeah, I'm connected to you, King. I'm very privileged. Thank you, Papa, for allowing me to get on the plane anytime and just come see you. You know, right, Otis? The fact that he was able to just get on the plane and say that I was able to go see my father maintains his legitimacy. Doesn't matter that he only could spend a little bit of time there. So he's saying to his father, thank you, Daddy, for seeing me. See, now I can say to the Americans, I went and saw my daddy and I was on a plane and I could go see him anytime. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Papa. He was being interviewed, as we know, by the son of Superman, Christopher Reeves, who went on to make an apparent reference to his late father's paralysis, saying, I've also found it in my own life that sort of illness in the family can galvanize or sort of unify, have a unifying effect on a family. Is that possible in this case? And Harry replied, well, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure throughout all of this, in the Invictus families I see on a day-to-day basis, again, the strength of the families unit coming together. I think any illness, any sickness brings families together. So Harry sees that he can capitalize on his father's cancer to show, look, Daddy, unify with me. When I say I'm coming to see you, open the door, because I need to still maintain my connection to you, because I so desperately want us to have a good relationship. No matter how negatively I speak about you, always have that door open, because I am your son. And how he twisted it and turned it on the families that he was there to see is very revealing, because it shows, be like the average people that I'm supporting and helping, the average everyday man that is facing an illness, a hardship within their physical abilities. Don't turn your back on me. And Harry has to look at how his father has to be seen in a good light by the people, so he can't close the door on him. So they're going to fully capitalize on this. But I have a solution. I'm going to tell you what my solution is, but let's just finish going through this. One friend of Charles and the Queen Camilla, when told of Harry's comments by the Daily Beast, they responded, it seems Harry has taken it on himself to use the diagnosis to publicize his own agenda. If it wasn't so sickening, it would be funny. What really would have helped the family come together would have been if Harry had said he wouldn't be taking questions about his father. And Harry didn't say that, did he? He didn't say that because he has to take the questions. Otherwise, why are we going to listen to a word you have to say? Why? Why am I listening to you? If you are exiled and if you are no longer connected to real royalty, the legitimate heir royalties, you're invalidated. You are null and void here in the States. Why do you think they didn't talk to Meghan? She ain't nothing. She's only connected to you because you married to the man that's the royal. Harry just went and saw his father. Meghan didn't go. Why are we going to talk to her? No, we want to speak to the man that's connected to the King of England. And Harry is continuing to capitalize on that as he's doing as his wife has told him to do. Let's get that straight. Another friend of the family, because she's saying to him, Harry, how you going to make your money? How are we going to pay our bills? You better go get you some superpowers. You better go over there and talk to the king. You better go over there and say that you were grateful for the opportunity to get on the plane and go see your father anytime. You know, he's not showing he's restricted when he goes to see the king. We know this, but the average American doesn't know this because Harry just said He can go anytime to see his father, anytime. And Meghan is like, yeah, go see him so we can use that to get our superpowers. Another friend of the family said, it's hard to believe that Harry can keep finding ways to make things worse. He just needs to pipe down. And guess what? He's not going to pipe down. This is how they paid their bills. And anybody that is trying to earn a living, make money, they are going to do things that are going to upset a lot of people. It is not until you actually do the hard things to stop it will it stop. This is not going to stop. It's going to get worse. He's going to capitalize every opportunity, everything, to make his money. Because that woman of his and her team, the people she's paying, they are plotting. They're in rooms, sitting down, talking about this, having very complex conversations about what happens, what you're going to do, how we're going to rebrand this to connect you to royalty. Why do you think we're seeing this website now look so regal and royal? Because if they can somehow make the Americans believe that he is in his own right royal, they don't really ever have to show a on paper connection. We just need to hear he went to see the king. They don't need to put it on the website. They don't need to show a picture on the website that they're connected to royalty. They can just, pop in with these interviews, say, I saw the king, come back, do your interview. And the Americans like, oh, yeah, he went and saw the king. Okay. And then and then in Americans' minds, he's slowly becoming the royal American vicariously through his visits to the United Kingdom when he publicizes his going to see his father in Great Britain. He can capitalize on that in the minds of the Americans that are just vicariously watching this prince prance around like a real royal when we know what he really is. They don't know the complexities of this, him not being a working royal. Like what is that? He's royalty. What's a working royal? Like, that's what people are thinking. A lot of people are thinking that are going to see this show on GMA. And mind you, I just wanted to give you some stats on this television show that they're actually going to be airing this interview on tomorrow morning. Good Morning America is ranked as America's #1 morning newscast in all key target demographics. Viewers, around 3 million viewers, adults 25 to 54, adults 18 to 49. GMA is ranked as the #1 show. So I'm not surprised that they tried to go to the one that had the most viewers, because that's what the goal is to have the average American person in their mindset see Harry as a royal and to connect him vicariously through his relationship with the king, even though we know they are divided as father and son. Americans don't need to know the complexities. They just need to see, oh, there's Prince Harry. That's the king's son, and he went to go see the king. And then he's got these superpowers. So he did this interview to promote the Invictus Games in Canada, British Columbia. Okay. And brought back uncomfortable memories for the palace of Harry's last Invictus Games when he boasted about his relationship with the ailing Queen Elizabeth at the time. We remember that. And then he said at the time then he was going to make sure that the right people are around her and that she's protected. Remember he said that? We know that's a lie. But the Americans, to the American audience, he can say anything. And we be like, oh, okay. Harry. They're trying to be very slick, but at the same time, very low class, very ghetto, as I say, because it is ghetto behavior, because you don't really have the connection that you're trying to show us Americans that you have. You perpetrating. And that Meghan is plotting and perpetrating with you. And that stupid prince is going to let her do it because he knows he needs to pay the bills. We keeping it real here, folks. We keeping it real. Harry's remarks about potentially becoming a U.S. citizen are also making global headlines. They came about after he was asked by Reeve about his life in California, to which Harry said, "Love every single day." Love every single day. I'm thinking, no, you don't. No, you don't. You want us to believe that, but that's a lie. That's a lie. You don't love every single day in America, because I don't even love every single day here in America. And I'm an American. Okay? So I know you're lying. You perpetrating. And then which prompted his interviewer to ask, would he think about becoming a citizen? He says, I haven't considered it yet. The thought has crossed my mind, but it's not a high priority right now. And you know what I would have said to Harry if I were the interviewer? How do your children get along with the king? I think any real close relationship with the king would come through the children, the grandchildren. Harry couldn't answer that question because his children don't even know the king. The king doesn't even know his children. So that right there tells you about the real relationship. There is no real relationship that is of value that one can watch as he explains it means something. It means absolutely nothing. But he wants us Americans to believe it's meaningful. It has value. No, it don't. That's a lie. But he gonna perpetrate it. But I got a solution. So asked about his children, Harry said, yeah, these kids are doing great. The kids are growing up like all kids do, incredibly fast. They've got an incredible sense of humor and make us laugh and keep us grounded every single day like most kids do. That's right. And I think King Charles needs to keep you grounded, Harry. He needs to keep you grounded. Because you're ungrounded with your behavior and how you are trying to capitalize off of your relationship with the king. Harry went on to say that I'm just very grateful to be a dad. And I hope that when Harry's children grow up, they give him as much flack as he's given his own father. Harry is really not understanding what he has done. Truly, he is not really understanding it in the way that is meaningful. Right now, it's all superficial. It's all superficialities everywhere. We just see the perpetration of it all. It's just like eating the popcorn and like, ugh, that's just perpetration, lies, and just disgusting ghetto. Everything we're seeing. He needs to be humbled. Harry needs to be brought down and humbled. He said he would visit the UK to see his family as much as he could, that when pressed about his relationship with his family of origin, he said, I have my own family. So he didn't really go into about his family relationship in the United Kingdom because there is none. What way to get rid of that question and to divert? He was like, well, what about your family over in the United Kingdom? Harry was like, well, let's just talk about my family. Okay, I have my own family. I can talk about my family. Yeah, I just love my kids, my family, everything. I'm doing what I'm doing with my family. And you're like, we ain't going to talk about my relationship with the real royals. We ain't going to talk about that, okay? We're not going to really go into that. We're going to keep that superficial. Let's just talk about how I am in a relationship with my own family because I'm a grown man trying to pay my bills. Yes, that's why I'm talking to you, Will Reeves. You know, don't get it twisted. We got you, Harry. We figured you out. And asked about the outlook of his father's health, Harry said, that stays between me and him. Yes, of course. Those kind of things you can say, that's between us. But we know what the real deal is. You got to kind of keep it a little on the down low so that you can still get your superpowers when you need them here and there by saying, I'm not going to talk about that. What I say is most Americans are not keeping up on the comings and goings, as I've always said, about what Harry is really doing, what it all means. So seeing him on these feel-good morning breakfast shows gives the average American a feel-good taste of Harry the Prince, who is still connected to the king. And they can just love him from afar, that Harry, and just think, oh, he is the king's son living in America. We just love him and his wife, the American black wannabe woman sometimes black. You know, like it's like they're trying to perpetrate something that really isn't what it seems. And that's what they're going to continue to do. And the way I see it is Harry and Meghan need to have the opposition to the king in America. They need people who are giving the real story and to do these investigative reports and to give these really good specials on the real deal with Harry and Meghan. Because what Harry and Meghan are doing, they are using the American media to portray this false sense of who they are as royals. But in America, the only people they have are their paid consultants. So using these people that they have to pay makes it so that they have to keep making money. And they're going to keep doing what they can to maintain their relationship to the royals over in Great Britain. Because don't get it twisted. Prince William and Princess Catherine, they are very popular here. Very, very popular. And I believe Harry and Meghan are trying to supersede the popularity of William and Catherine by really galvanizing their audience here in the States to make them very well liked and to be more liked than William and Catherine. And I think they're going to do this as long as they continue to not have real opposition in America to anything that they're doing. There needs to be as much news as talked about with Harry and Meghan online and on the UK television. There needs to be that here in America, because we always get these feel-good stories. We always get these stories that talk about the work that they're doing, and we highlight all the niceties. But there's no real talk here in America about what Harry and Meghan are really doing, because we know the king can't speak out on it. We're never going to hear them say anything, William or Catherine. So Harry and Meghan, they can spin this narrative all they want. But if they had an opposition for the real viewers of American television to see what Harry and Meghan are doing, then you'll get that polarity. Then you'll really start to get those people be like, Harry, you lying. You ain't telling the truth. That's how they can solve this problem. But I think as much as Harry and Meghan are trying to make royalty look very popular, make it look very happy and well connected to royalty in Great Britain, as much as they can do that, we can have the exact counter to that with American television checking Harry and Meghan for what they're trying to do to our friends over in the United Kingdom. That's how you get a snap on it. That's how you get a hand on what Harry and Meghan are doing. Because right now they just running buck wild in America with their PR and with their, access to interviews and saying and doing whatever they want. Who's going to check them? The king and them, they're not going to speak back. They're not going to say anything. But guess what? I can say it. I can give the real deal about what Harry is doing on American television. I can speak to the average American. What will happen? What will happen with Harry and Meghan now that they're here in the States trying to pull the wool over the average American's eyeballs about his relationship with the king? I think it's time we put an end to that and give Harry and Meghan a run for their money, so they can stop the perpetration and the lies. Because at this point, they need to be opposed to all the dirty, nasty tricks.